So I actually spent over 10 years working at the front desk of a real estate office before I ever even thought about selling houses. And now I'm a real estate agent in Southern Ontario, Canada, and my whole thing is making the process of buying and selling a house less scary, less overwhelming, and maybe even a little bit fun. Today, I want to talk about my personal journey, what makes me a great real estate agent to have on your team, and my unique roadmap to getting here. So, like I said, I actually worked for 10 years at the front desk of a real estate office. I loved it, and there were a lot of things that I learned from working there. So, I want to talk about that first. Through high school and university and my post grad, I was working as a front desk receptionist. Though at a real estate office like the one that I worked at, you are not just answering calls. So, what I and the other front desk staff did, on top of making these calls and speaking with homeowners, speaking with other agents, with other offices, um, we would help agents write their offers, write their listings and upload them to the MLS, manage clients, and a lot more. So, needless to say, I actually learned so much from working at the front desk. A lot of the behind the scenes work, a lot of the skills and knowledge and um, processes that go on behind the scenes in order to make a good and successful real estate agent. On top of that, I got a decade of customer service experience. Um, if you have ever worked in customer service, you probably will agree with me when you say that I think everyone should work customer service at some point and work with the general public, because it, for one, teaches you patience, discretion, respect, and a lot of other things. And it just really prepares you for a lot of different things in life. I mentioned that I worked here during 3 different kinds of school. So quickly, I'll talk about my education. Obviously, once I was done high school, I did go to university and I got a undergrad degree in psychology. I've always been interested in why people do the things that they do, what motivates people, how to communicate with people, um, how people work, their inner workings, and all of that stuff. So I got that degree there. And then afterwards, I actually got my post grad certificate in public relations and corporate communications. So this is actually kind of closely related to being interested in why people do the things they do, is how to communicate to them, how to market to them, how to be effective in your communication. And the post grad thing that I did was specifically for corporate work. So that is where I ended up getting a job after I graduated both of these things. So then, of course, I left the front desk to work full time in a marketing and communications role. I worked in a couple different roles in different industries for the better part of another decade, over 8 years working in some sort of communications capacity. Now, there were lots of things that I loved about marketing and communications for corporations, but what made me want to change and become a real estate agent? I realized that a lot of what was burning me out in corporate life um, was that my work was not feeling meaningful. A lot of the work I was doing, it was really hard to see an impact on um, helping people, first of all, like actually helping people. And it was very removed from humans. Like I would, create a lot of great content. I loved writing it. I loved creating it. I loved making stories come to life for the companies that I worked for. But there was really a big disconnect between me and who I was actually communicating to. And then as well, this is just me, I ended up working in industries where it just seemed so removed. It was removed on like, how am I actually helping people? What is my work doing? What is the point of this? So of course, when I was rethinking what my career should look like and what my next move should be, I looked back on my education and my experience. How do I combine my love for communicating with people and explaining complicated topics in a understandable way? That has been a vein throughout everything I've done. And like actually helping people and making some sort of positive impact on individuals' lives. And of course, I noticed that I had a decade of experience in something that I still found interesting, which was real estate. And I'll be so real. The whole time I worked at the front desk, most of that time I thought, no, being an agent is not for me. There were a few things that felt just like too stressful. I really wanted to, I had my eyes like and my everything focused on corporate and, the whole like steady paycheck every 2 weeks, no matter what. Where real estate is you only get paid commission, like 100% commission. And that was really felt outside of my comfort zone, especially because as a person, I am not I didn't want to feel like I had to be somebody who was like a hard seller. That's just not me. And at the time, I thought that that was the only way to do real estate and be at all successful. Of course, that's not true. I have since learned that. And if you've worked with me or if you've watched any of my videos, I think and hope that it is very clear that I am still true to myself and I am not that way. I am not the type to do a hard sell. I want to be a source of information and be a safe, reliable, approachable person that you can add to your team of professionals when you do decide to buy or sell a house. Now I get to, honestly, it's going to sound lame, but I get to live the dream. I get to help people who I see the impact on their lives of my help. I get to help them find a house that they love, that they literally like. The impact is clear. They live in this every day. We live in our houses and spend time in them every day. And that is huge to me that I get to help. Like it makes me emotional. Like I got to help one of my closest friends buy their first home last year. And oh my God, it was just so amazing and fulfilling. And I was as emotional as them. Obviously, after, like, I can definitely compartmentalize things and I got the job done and did not let emotion cloud my judgment. But after it was done and they were closed, I was like, oh my God, like I got to do that and they're so happy and I got to help with that. And I got to make the process feel okay to them because it is a huge thing. It's a huge undertaking to, in their case, buy your first home. And it's just like, it seems like too big of a mountain to overcome sometimes for a lot of people. And I get that. I'm a homeowner, and when I was buying my first house, this was before I was an agent. It was just like emotional, overwhelming. Every emotion that a human can have basically is what you're feeling when you're deciding to buy your first house or buy any house or sell your house. Like, this is a huge undertaking. And my point here is that I'm so grateful that my job gets to be helping people through that. This job also helps me fill my social butterfly quota. I get to work with people every day. and I get to talk with them, learn about them, grow relationships. Um, like I said, when I got to help my friends, I got to hang out with them for work. It was like so fun for me. And so just all around, um, it's pretty great. And then, of course, all of my marketing and communications skills from school and my real world experience, I got to take all of that and apply it to my own business and my own marketing strategy to sell people's homes, um, and all of that fun stuff. It's really great and kind of a perfect marriage of like psychology, marketing and communications, real estate. They all come together in a really awesome package, I think, in what I do. So you can confirm this by checking out my Google reviews. But everything that I wish that my clients experience when they work with me, I've been so overwhelmed that their reviews come back time and again of those exact things, that they feel cared for, that I explained these complex topics in a way that made sense to them and made them feel comfortable, that they never felt pressured and to make a decision in a certain time frame or anything like that. And just that they enjoy the experience and that they're happy um, in their new home, whether they bought or sold or both. They had a great experience that felt comfortable and safe to them. So, if you're looking for someone who has kind of walked on all sides of this industry, and has a bit of a unique perspective and experience, reach out to me anytime. I mean it when I say that there's no obligation, because I know that this is a big decision for a lot of people, choosing a real estate agent, choosing to buy or sell, or both. Reach out to me and we can talk about it. And yeah, I'd love to be your guide through this whole thing. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I had to say it. I love helping people through this journey, and I post new videos all the time about different topics, including this one about the step-by-step process of what it takes to buy a house, every step of the way, start to finish. See you next time.